On November 15, 2021, the Earth's orbit received over 1,500 trackable debris pieces in low orbit after Russia conducted a direct-ascent anti-satellite test to destroy one of its satellites. The test and the country responsible were regarded as threatening and irresponsible, as it was considered that it would endanger both space assets and human spaceflight for the years to come. While Russia's motive to conduct the test remains bogus and official statements do not reveal what prompted it, the aftermath has arguably improved the prospects for an urgently needed and outright international ban on debris and creating ASAT tests. Want to know more? Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out. The test made use of the PL Noodle system, an anti-ballistic missile interceptor that is often used as a direct-ascent anti-satellite weapon, implying that it is launched from the ground rather than from space. The test is the third of its kind conducted by the country since 2007, and it was the latest for several Russian tests of the Noodle system, but the first involving the destruction of a target in orbit. The Soviet Union has carried out destructive anti-satellite tests against live satellite targets before, but has only done so using weapons placed in orbit. The kind of direct-ascent weapon that was tested this time features interceptor missiles that travel from the Earth's surface to strike a satellite target passing roughly above the launcher's location. The target was the Cosmos 1408, a satellite with an approximate mass of 2,200 kilograms that had previously been a part of the Soviet Selena D electronic intelligence system. Notably, the test was conducted in low Earth orbit at an altitude of 480 kilometers, the environment used for numerous space activities, causing the 7 crew members aboard the International Space Station, 4 Americans, 2 Russians, and a German, to take shelter multiple times as the station's orbit intersected with the debris. On the flip side, the Russian test clearly shows the risks associated with the ASAT tests that seek to destroy satellites rather than disable them with non-kinetic means. The ensuing debris, even the much smaller pieces less than a millimeter in diameter, can inflict severe damage on satellites and other space assets. The United States Space Command estimated that over 1,500 pieces of trackable debris are likely to generate hundreds of thousands of smaller pieces. The debris field is likely to keep growing and, given the altitude of the test, perhaps migrate and disturb going-ons in higher orbits. Debris is already a significant problem in critical Earth orbits, including LEO. More than 23,000 orbital debris objects larger than 10 centimeters in diameter exist alongside thousands of untracked smaller fragments. These objects travel at immense speeds, averaging 8 to 10 kilometers per second. This space debris can cause serious structural damage and catastrophic damage to satellites in the atmosphere. Furthermore, as the amount of debris grows and the orbit becomes more congested, the probability of new collisions increases as well. And as collisions create new debris, the probability of new collisions further compounds. Over time, the cost of safely and predictably operating in orbit will grow considerably, making access to space more expensive until further exploration becomes infeasible because of intolerable costs. The test drew strong condemnation from the international community. The United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Japan, and South Korea have made harsh allegations against Russia, accusing Moscow of being irresponsible and endangering active satellites, including the International Space Station and the Chinese Tiangong Space Station, currently under construction. Within hours of the test, the U.S. Space Command had published its assessment of the hazards created by the test and accused Russia of a deliberate disregard for the security, safety, stability, and long-term sustainability of the space domain for all nations. The U.S. Department said the test threatened the long-term future of international collaboration in space and were something that the U.S. will not tolerate. However, China and India are yet to comment publicly, probably because they have conducted similar anti-satellite tests of their own. In 2007, China conducted an ASAT test, destroying an inactive Chinese weather satellite, the FY-1C, making it the third country in the world to demonstrate an ASAT capability after superpowers like the United States and the Soviet Union developed such capabilities in the Cold War. Theirs was the largest creation of debris in history, with more than 2,000 pieces of trackable size officially cataloged in the immediate aftermath. And by October of that year, a total of 3,438 pieces had been detected, with 571 decayed and 2,867 still in orbit 9 years after the incident. Several nations responded negatively to the test, which highlighted the serious consequences of engaging in the militarization of space. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman confirmed that China had no intention of participating in any sorts of arms race in outer space and claimed that they had notified the US, Japan, and other countries about the test in advance. Then, in March of 2019, India conducted an ASAT test by destroying one of its satellites at an altitude of approximately 290 kilometers above the Earth's surface. International reactions to India's test were moderate and focused on the need to enhance space security, and especially monitored the issue of debris. However, debris is not the only topic of concern to provoke nations following the Russian ASAT test. State Department spokesperson Ned Prince commented that Russia's dangerous and irresponsible behavior jeopardized the long-term sustainability of outer space and demonstrated that Russia's claim of opposing the weaponization of space are distinguished and hypocritical. U.S. Army General James Dickinson, U.S. Space Command commander, also denounced the test, charging that Russia is developing and deploying capabilities to actively deny access to and use of space by the United States and its allies and partners. The UN First Committee voted to create a new working group to develop new norms of responsible behavior in space aimed at the prevention of an arms race. Not long after, the Russian Foreign Ministry confirmed the test on November 16th and said that the debris it produced did not create any threat and does not pose any obstacles or difficulties to the functioning of orbital stations and spacecraft or other space activities. Condemnation quickly rolled in from the US, its allies, members of Congress, and the expert community. The UK Defense Secretary tweeted, "This destructive anti-satellite missile test by Russia shows a complete disregard for the security, safety, and sustainability of space." And Congress, House Armed Services Committee Chairman Adam Smith, said the test makes it clear that Moscow is willing to threaten the peaceful use of outer space, further militarize this domain, and disregard any consequences for all nations. Meanwhile, the Secure World Foundation called for the United States, Russia, China, and India to declare unilateral moratoriums on further testing of their anti-satellite weapons that could create additional orbital debris, and to work with other countries towards solidifying an international ban on destructive ASAT testing. Despite all this, while the official statement from the country did not reveal details about the motivating factor or the purpose behind the ASAT launch, theories by analysts and speculators say that Russia has achieved exactly what it intended with the testing. Russia has tested the PL-19 Noodle system multiple times before prosthetics, but it had only done so against a simulated target. The target efficiently confirmed that the Noodle interceptor can destroy satellites. The Russian Minister of Defense even boasted that the interceptor's demonstrated precision was worthy of a goldsmith. Spectators say that Russia may have calculated that in the context of rising great power rivalry, especially between the United States and China. The growing trend of space weaponization is the future of warfare. At the same time, this trend of weaponization opens the doors to stringent space relations that will limit the development and use of these capabilities. Therefore, it is believed that Russia knew that conducting this ASAT test to display technological capability before new international regulations are created could be valuable for both national security and political reasons. More specifically, by destroying its satellite in space, Russia achieved two objectives. First, it enhanced its defense and deterrence capabilities, and also projected power before testing, demonstrating, and using ASAT capabilities could be prohibited or significantly restricted by international mechanisms. Additionally, Russia ensured that it would be a significant part of any major international regulatory process by publicly professing to possess such a capability. Nonetheless, the test and the resultant orbital debris have focused international attention on the rapidly declining sustainability of near-Earth space and the need to constrain this kind of weapons testing. A ban on such ASAT tests has now become essential, not only to prevent the unnecessary creation of space debris, but also to slow the rapid pace at which we are moving towards an arms race in space and the resulting potential for conflict involving the outer space environment. And it seems the prospects of the ban becoming a reality are increasing, as Russia has indicated a willingness to work on space security issues with all states, including the USA. What do you think about the possibility of a ban on anti-satellite munitions? Leave us a comment and let us know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.